Hi, welcome back to another episode of Danbro Business in Conversation. Today we've got Wes Partington, the Managing Director of AFC Fylde Community Foundation, which is a non-profit organisation who help better people's lives and prospects across the coast of Fylde. Wes is a really interesting guy and he's got a very unique perspective on the power of sport and education within the community. So we can't wait for you to hear more about this on today's episode. So Wes, I was wondering whether you could tell us a little bit about the foundation and the AFC Fylde and everything that comes with the foundation.
All right, okay, so my name's Wes. I'm the director at AFC Fylde Community Foundation. We're the official charity of AFC Fylde, the football club. Basically, we have 20 full-time members of staff. We're solely focused on the community. We utilise the branding of AFC Fylde to help people, help local people, whether you're a child as young as 2 or an older person as old as 92. Okay. We have a broad range of different programmes that we run, and our aims are to improve health and wellbeing, to improve employability and training, and to create stronger communities.
Oh, lovely, okay. Well, I've seen on your website that you're running a few projects at the minute. I was just wondering whether you could tell us a little bit more about each of them.
What we do? Yeah. So the charity is split up into 3 different departments. So we have a schools department, which takes care of all our schools coaching, whether it's PPA cover, after school clubs, things like that. We have an employability section, which helps people get into jobs, helps people with qualifications and training. And we also have a community development side, which supports people like, refugees, people with disabilities. We've just secured funding from the National Lottery to run a programme for older people that are struggling with social isolation. So we have a broad range of programmes, and I'd like to think that, if there is anybody living in the Fylde Borough that needs support, we are that organisation, that go-to organisation that people can reach out to. And if we can't provide that support, then we do have them links locally, to provide exit routes for them and other support.
Oh, amazing. Well, I've seen that you've had 10 years at Wigan Athletic.
Yes.
So what's it been like working with the foundation on a smaller scale?
So when I first started at Wigan, I was on frontline delivery, so that's where I developed my passion for the community work that we do. I kind of built myself up into an assistant director role. So when I was there, I saw the business, and I was part of the business going from 7 staff to 48 when I left.
Okay.
And I just felt I got to a point where I needed that next step in my career. In the football industry, in this industry, there's only so many football clubs within the country, let alone the charities that are associated with them. So these opportunities don't come about that often. When I looked at the Fylde job, it was, it had to match my ambitions as an individual. We've got a great chairman, he's got ambitions for the Football League. When I turned up for my interview, the facilities that were there were unbelievable for the level that we're at. It can compete with anybody up to championship level easily.
Wow.
So when I sat down with the chairman and the trustees, it was a right match for me. Yes, it's a smaller organisation, but I felt I had the skills to bring over to make a success of it. I've been here almost 3 years now, and I'd like to think that we've done that. I'd like to say almost tripled our income.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Wow.
When I started, we had 3 or 4 projects. It was in the height of COVID, but now we're looking at over 20 programmes that we're running.
Oh my gosh,
so,
that is amazing. So how much, obviously because it's foundation and with football, how much does the success of each game have impact on the foundation? Does it
from a football club?
Yes.
To be honest, because we're independently separate, we're a separate entity, we're a registered charity, so financially we're completely separate. Yes, we have the badge and we use the power of the badge to help people. We have our own social media channels, we have our own programmes, things like that, so we are separate. However, we do benefit from player appearances, we do benefit from players coming down to our sessions, giving up their time, which does inspire people. On a match day is a match day. If the football club aren't performing, that doesn't mean we're not performing. We have our own objectives, we have our own values as an organisation, we have our own culture that I set, and as a senior management team we set, and that's what we follow every day. So for me, it's about performing, every member of staff performing at the best that they can be. and if the football team is losing a game, then it's nothing to do with us. We just kind of represent the football club in a good way.
Okay, amazing. So obviously the budgeting is vastly different compared to like what Manchester United and like bigger teams like that get. But what are the similarities, would you say?
So the main difference is in terms of league position for a club like Manchester United and ourselves. There's a lot of funding from the Premier League. So a lot of the TV rights money does get donated to good causes. A lot of time that does go unnoticed. But as you filter down the pyramid, the money gets less and less. So we do receive minimal funding from the National League Trust through the Premier League. So the majority of our funding is self-made. It comes through me and my senior management team. I'd like to think that the level we're competing at a high level. In terms of our size. Thinking of other clubs that are in the Football League, we are bigger than some that are in the Football League. But definitely. I think that just comes down to ambitions of a trustee board. So my trustee board are very ambitious. I put the majority of it together when I came on board, and everybody has to buy into what direction we're going in. When I came in, I was like, right, we need to be try and get to 1 million turnover. That'd be making sure that anybody that wants to come into contact with the foundation, needs support from the foundation, we're there to help. So my aim is to be the go-to provider. But yeah, from a budgeting you do get less money further down the pyramid, unfortunately. But we're successful. We're doing well at the minute.
Definitely.
And we've had another good year. So
that's all that counts. So I know you mentioned about you having 20 full-time employees, but do you have part-timers or? So
the majority of our staff are full-time.
Oh, right, okay.
We have volunteers and part-time staff.
Okay.
But the majority of staff are full-time.
Okay.
When we write funding applications and bids and things like that, we try and marry it up with, if we are successful, that'll pay for a full-time member of staff. So to give you an example, I'm working alongside BAE Systems, local business, and I've just found out this morning that the Veterans Foundation are going to be supporting a full-time veterans role. So BAE are going to contribute half to that, and the Veterans Foundation are going to contribute half to that. So when we go out and look for funding, we're trying to get full-time roles or at least part-time roles to make that difference in the local community.
Definitely. So, would you say it makes a big difference?
Oh, massive. Massive. I mean, BAE have funded us for the past 2 years. But what they've, from what they've seen and what we do to support our local veterans, and I'm not just saying it because I'm biased because I work there and I'm the director, but it's unbelievable. Some of the stories that some of the stories that we get through supporting our local veterans that have maybe come out of Wheaton Barracks, that have resided in the local, in Fylde, is unbelievable. And to be fair, the Veterans Foundation have funded us before, and for them to come back and say, we'll give you another 2 years worth of funding, is just a testament to Lee, who's our officer. So Lee did 22 years in the army. He came out of Wheaton Barracks, and now he's full-time with us. So as a community organisation, that's what it's all about. A local veteran supporting local veterans. Just as an example.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So with that, what would you say you look for in people when you are hiring?
Good question. Been hiring for a position past couple of days. For me, it depends what role it is. So, we're looking for somebody that's passionate. And I'm probably not the only one in our industry that will say this, but you're never going to be a millionaire working in our charitable sector. It's all about the passion. And I make sure that every single person I interview or my staff interview, they understand that. One of our values is pride in our work. And for me, pride comes before everything. If you're not passionate about what you do, then, especially in this industry, then there's no point you getting involved. So I look, first and foremost, can I look in somebody's eyes? Can I see that they've got a passion for making a difference to people's lives? I am. I get a lot of job satisfaction from working with the likes of BAE and the Veterans Foundation and the National Lottery, and seeing and being able to bring money into the borough and distribute it to help people. That's where I get my job satisfaction, and that's got to be reflected down the ladder of staff. Oh
my gosh, that's so lovely. So in all the years of working within the community, what's the biggest thing you would say you've learned about people?
Well, because I've worked in 2 different areas, the demographics in Wigan are completely different to Fylde. So for me, there's people that are in need, and our job is to help people that are in need.
Yeah.
So if we can put programs on, if we can align our strategy with the likes of Fylde Council, other local partners, housing providers and things like that, to help local people, then for me that's, we're doing our job.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here to do. If that answers your question. I've got a bit on a tangent there.
So why have you chosen to go down the career path of working for a community trust rather than a commercial enterprise? Is it because of the satisfaction, like you say?
Yeah. I mean, when I was at university and college, and you go through the process, and I've played football at a grassroots level, and I like to work in football, and you fancied yourself as a coach, like many people fancy themselves as a coach. I quickly realised I was not a good coach.
No.
And I was introduced to Wigan through a friend who was on the course at university, and I got introduced that way. So I just did some volunteering. I turned up, and it was on a really deprived area, one of the worst areas in Wigan, and I just developed this passion for working with young people. My personality came across, and just to see the smiles on the children's faces who'd been kicked out of their house with £1.50 to get a chip butty at 4:30 and don't come home till 9 o'clock. We providing that football, that release for them. I just thought, this is for me. This is for me. And it's quite a passionate person, an ambitious person as you move up the ladder. So I moved from on the ground to a project manager, to then a manager of a department, and then to an assistant director role. It was like, for me, where do I now get my satisfaction from? And like I've just said, it's for me, it's all about, setting up programs to meet the local need. And I'd like to think that, the programs that we deliver as a foundation representing the football club do that.
Yeah, definitely. So I think you've answered this next question, but what is the favourite part of your job? That satisfaction of helping people?
And it's helping people. And for me, just to give you an example, so a couple of years ago when I first started, there was a couple of pockets of refugees that, we were speaking to the local council. So there's a pocket of refugees in Kirkham, and there was a couple of housing, I think HMOs that was housing maybe 15 of them. So we had a chat with local councillors, and we put a bid together, a plan together, and worked with Lancashire County Council, and we received some funding to help them. Now, without that funding, there's no way that they would have been able to come to Fylde Sports and Education Centre and take part in a free activity. So it was all about breaking down barriers, getting them to come to the local community, which they wouldn't have been able to afford because they only get a small amount of money to live off themselves. Things like that are what make me, what I get job satisfaction from.
Where you got your passion from.
Just helping people, helping older people reduce loneliness. We get case studies, and we get people coming through that saying, without our service, they wouldn't have come out of their house.
No.
You know what I mean? And to hear them first-hand accounts from people, telling you what your service has done for them, for me, you can't beat it. You really can't. And that's kind of, I don't think I'd ever be able to go into the commercial side now from being in this industry.
That's so lovely. So this is a little bit off the pathway, but you are our first client on the podcast. So I was wondering whether you could tell us your relationship with Danbro.
So when I first joined, I was introduced to Danbro because Danbro look after our accounts. So as I'd like to say, a medium-sized charity. Our income doesn't, our income isn't big enough, and there's not enough workload for us to employ a full-time accountant. So the best bet for us to work with Danbro to employ or commission Danbro for a member of staff to work with us on a part-time basis to look after our accounts, look after our invoicing, and work with myself, and to be honest, it's been great. I'll big him up a little bit. He's called Scott Harrison. He's really good, to be fair. He looks after our accounts, helps me with any queries I've got. He comes back straight away.
Great.
And to be honest, it's a great relationship. I don't see the size that we are warranting a full-time member of staff just to look after accounts. So for us, this is ideal.
Amazing. So obviously, after hearing all about the podcast and people listening, I'm sure a lot of them will want to get involved and help out. So how can they do that?
So there's a few ways that people can get involved with us. Obviously, if you know somebody that's struggling with isolation, or you think, I know a veteran that might want to take part, then from a participation point of view, just get in touch with us, go to our website, or contact us on social media.
Yep.
If anybody wants to get involved and think, you know what, I'd like to give a bit of time up volunteering,
Yeah.
then again, it'll just be a case of contacting us, community@afcfylde.co.uk. But also, if businesses want to get involved with us, excuse me, so like I said, we've got the likes of BAE, we've got other local businesses that get involved with us. If you know, even if it's things like purchasing Christmas presents for our local, you know, Christmas appeal. And there's loads of different ways that businesses can get involved with us. So yeah, just if it's something that if local businesses that are watching might want to get involved, then I just say just contact us and we can go from there.
Amazing. So this is the last question, and we ask everybody this. So how do you define success both in your personal and your career life?
Oof. So from a personal point of view, I always wanted to get to the director level.
Okay.
It was always an ambition of mine that when I joined Wigan, it was, you know, you see the boss at the top, and that's where you want to get to.
Yeah.
So I'd like to think I'm there now.
Yeah.
You know, who knows, in a couple of years, would it be a bigger club?
Yeah.
You know,
Progress.
being realistically. But at this moment in time, I absolutely love this job, and I think there's still progress to be made with AFC Fylde Community Foundation. I think, like I said earlier, I think we can get towards that £1 million turnover. If the club progresses and gets into the Football League, that opens up other avenues in terms of the relationship with the English Football League Trust. So I do think there's still progress to be made. You know, where we're at now, and that's my ambition. That's what keeps me going. That's what I feed down to the staff. You know, we've got to be the best that we can be. I think I've covered that from both.
From both. Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's been lovely to hear from you. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.